The Calafiori, yeah,
Thanks
Calafiori
for that,
over
Phil.
the line now. How happy are you now that deal's sort of done and dusted?
Yeah, it was a strange signing when it got announced because it was kind of like, oh, come on, get this over the line, and it's no shock now. I like everything he said. I thought he was really good in interview. He's clearly someone that Arteta has looked at and monitored for a while. We've sorted out finally our left-hand side because that's been a shambles, to be fair, our left-back situation. Right back from Kieran Tierney to Nuno Tavares. When Arteta walked in, I think Kolasinac was there. It's kind of been papered over, hasn't it? Zinchenko was there, but isn't, in my opinion, good enough defensively. Kivior played there for a bit last season, but is more of a centre-back and wants, I believe, to leave for first-team football. And then you've got Timber, who came in and got an ACL. So he's going to come in now. He's going to be our left-back. I think he's going to complement what we've already got. I like a lot of what I see and hear about him in terms of his attributes. And, £42 million. People might look at that and go, really? Did Arsenal need that? Well, yeah, you can say that when the window shuts and we don't buy anyone else, but it's still very much open and we're looking at the attacking players as well that we're linked with now. So I think it's a good start. It needs to carry on. It can't stop there for me, but I like that now. I think we have a defence that has the opportunity to break some records now. I look at the defence and I think it's by far the best department at Arsenal. You know, I think Ben White is extremely comfortable on the ball, can play in the inverted role and can defend. Likewise, we've signed that now on the left with Calafiori. I think we've got the best partnership in the league, in my opinion, defensively with Gabriel and Saliba. So I'm really impressed by that. So no more excuses about conceding goals at Arsenal this season, that's for sure, because we've spent a lot of money on this defence now. I think you mentioned it earlier that you spent 200 plus million on defenders now. So, I'm impressed by that signing. So I think we need more, and we definitely need to be selling our players that we want to get rid of so that we can now spend that money on what I think we need, which is looking at midfield and striker. So, but I think it's a good signing, man. I don't know what you boys think. I don't know if you boys think it's a waste of money or a bit of a strange one or what, but I actually quite like it. I think the left-hand side was a massive problem, if I'm honest.
When you say break records, expand on what you mean by that, please.
Yeah, so I think that we should be trying to aim to, with the defence we've got, to try to go for what Chelsea have gone for, what Chelsea went for, which was 15, something mad like that. That's what I think we should be trying to go for.
Bro, I said that last year about City, bro, and it did not work. Honestly, bro, it doesn't work like that, man. Trust. I was like, yo, we just signed Gavardio, you know what I mean? We're cooking with Diaz, and trust me, man, that Chelsea thing, yeah, what they done there with 14 goals.
I'm not saying we can equal it. I'm saying we should try to go as close to that as possible.
That's what for me, bro, you're literally repeating everything I said last year, bro. That it's not possible, bro. What they did that year, yeah, is insane. It's one of the most underrated records in football. Trust me, man. It is. What did they concede? 14 goals?
Yeah, 15 goals. And I think
15 in 38 matches.
Yeah, it was incredible.
You understand how crazy that is, bro? That's mad.
Yeah, no, it was incredible. But I think for me that what we've put here together, there's no excuses to go and be letting in silly goals now for me. We've spent a lot of money on it. We finally got the left-hand side. I look at the goals we conceded down that side last season. Kivior away at Fulham. Zinchenko at home at Fulham. I think Zinchenko at Wolves, we didn't lose that game, but it was poor. Zinchenko getting done at Anfield by Salah. Like, this is why Calafiori's coming in now. So there's pressure on him, that's for sure. Everyone's looking at him. He's 22 years old. So he's young, but he's certainly a player that people are hyping up to be. I mean, some people are comparing him to crazy names in the game that have been geniuses in defence, in my opinion, like Ramos and Maldini. So for me, if you're getting compared to those sort of players, there's serious pressure on you, man. You've got to deliver. But I like the signing.
I saw an Arsenal fan earlier on today that says, in his belief, Arsenal now have the greatest assemblement of centre-backs in Premier League history at their club.
Oh, that's a massive call, man. Jesus Christ. I'm not sure that there's a massive...
So when he says assemblement, just to bring his tweet to more life, he explains, he's saying all at one club at one time. He's not saying the best centre-backs, but the best collective group with Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, Timber, Calafiori, Tomiyasu, saying we've got six, 7 centre-backs that can play multiple positions. But as a collective group, there's never been a better group of centre backs at a club in Premier League history.
See,
And I
I
saw
get
it,
what
and I
he's
thought I'm
trying
going to bring it
to
up to the boys.
I get what he's trying to say, but this is what we have in our fan base. Unfortunately, there's only a section of them, but they overhype it, man. Just say it's a good group of defenders. I'm happy. Why do we have to go to that next level? And people might say that I was going to the next level, saying we're going to go and break Chelsea's record. I didn't say that. That's what we should be aiming, right? We should be aiming to try and do that. There should always be an aim in football. For me, I think we've got a really good bunch of defenders. I really rate them. I think they're pretty good. I'm not a Bologna fan. I haven't seen Calafiori in every minute of every single game, but I've seen enough and heard enough to know that he's going to be a good player for us, right? But if an Arsenal fan's saying that, then I can name a few teams that have won stuff and got across the line that were a lot better than this group. Trust me. Even in 2008 with Manchester United with Vidic and Ferdinand. In 99, you had Jaap Stam, didn't you? And Gary Neville's and Dennis Irwin's and Patrice Evra's in 2008. Chelsea, we've just said, had one of the best in relation to Carvalho and Terry. I understand what he means. I think in terms of the strength in depth, we're very good because we've got Timber and Tomiyasu now.
Yeah, because
if you're
gonna, I think you got to be careful with the wording. Because if you go back to Man United's treble-winning team, we had Ronnie Johnson and Jaap Stam, amazing. Gary Neville could play centre back. Henningberg was good, but then it was David May, right? So you start getting to like the fourth or fifth person, and it was David May level. So the tweet is probably factually correct. But that's because you've got so many centre backs. Most clubs used to have 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And the fourth person was always decent, but never amazing. So it's probably factually true if you're going to, in the way he's worded it. But no, I mean, they've got to get records and win the major trophies, in my opinion.
If it's right, go win the Premier League, go win the Champions League.
There we go. I agree with that.
Because when Chelsea did that defensive record, they won the league. When Man United and, Vidic and Rio and obviously the goalkeeper, I think it was most minutes or most games without conceding in Premier League history. We won the league that year as well. So it wasn't just a good record. It was a record with him winning a major trophy. That, for me, is how you at the end of the day, if this season Man United score the most amount of goals in Premier League history but don't win it, it's not the best attack in Premier League history, in my opinion, because we haven't won the league. Do that, break that record, and win the league, and you've got a much better argument to say it's the best attack because you've got a trophy at the end of it. And I think that the trophies matter so much more. But you're set to now go on to Marino. There's a lot of talk that this deal is quite close from some outlets. Has been reported today that Real Sociedad, we're not even reported, I think Sociedad's president has come out and said that we've offered him a new deal. We really want him to stay. Barca are circling. Atletico want him. This could be another big coup for Arsenal if you put it off.
Yeah, I think Mikel Arteta certainly wants a player. The question is now, does Mikel Merino want to come to Arsenal? And if he wants to stay in Spain, there's not much we can do. Very similarly to Nico Williams, who we were linked with. I know I was reading the other day from The Athletic that he is the player that Arteta wants, as in the wide areas. I'm sure he's not the only player, but he's certainly one of them. And if he wants to stay in Spain, there's not much he can do. I think Mikel Merino will come in and be the best replacement for Granit Xhaka that we can get in terms of his attributes and what he's about. He's certainly a player that would come in and cause a lot of problems that could happen if Declan Rice was to get an injury in that 8. Because we haven't actually got another 8, Terry. We've literally got Declan Rice and that's it, bro. Because all the others are very attack-minded. Fabio Vieira, obviously Smith Rowe played there and now he's gone. Havertz, Ethan Nwaneri talking about getting in more minutes, who looks very, very good, by the way.
He does.
So for me, it would be a good signing. I don't think he moves the needle to go, wow, look at that. It's not a Bruno G or a Frankie de Jong signing that maybe rivals will look at and go, oh my God, Declan Rice and whoever we buy and Ødegaard. Wow, that's one of the best in Europe. I don't think there's one out there that's realistic, if I'm honest. I don't think there is. So, yeah, if it gets done, I think it's a good signing, but it's not one that I think people will look at and go, wow, now Arsenal are ready to win the league. There's still a lot more to do, in my opinion.
So when you finish second again at the end of the season, are you going to be Arteta in or Arteta out, bro?
Well, listen, he delivers me silverware, I'll be Arteta in. But if he delivers me a trophyless season, it's very hard to defend the fact that we haven't won again for another season. But that's another question, LB. But yeah, no, that's where I'm at. Bring me silverware and I'll be happy, man. It's about trophies, isn't it?
This has to be the year that he wins something.
Yeah, it has to be, man. I don't really understand. There's a lot of Arsenal fans that still don't want to say it, though. There's still a lot of Arsenal fans that come in my chat and I speak to on socials, and they're like, as long as we don't regress, he gets to stay. So we can come second again, and we can be... How many points did we finish off your last season? Was it 2? It was 2, wasn't it? So if we finish less than that, is that regression then? If we finish 3 points behind you, is that regression? This is what I don't get with the fan base. So for me, we have to win a trophy. Absolutely. I don't care if it's a Premier League, Champions League, whatever it be. We need to win one of the majors. If it isn't one of them, we must win a domestic cup and we must title challenge. That is the bare minimum for me this season. We've got to win something. Otherwise, what is the point of all this? We spent another 200 million, let's say, this summer, and we still don't have a trophy. Like, when is it enough? Like, real talk, I understand it's been great. We're back challenging. This is where we should be, 100%. But don't tell me that, this is actually, we got to be patient and wait, because we've already been patient. It's been 21 years since I've seen a Premier League title, over 30 for a League Cup and a Europa League. How much more patience do we have? And I can't march down Hornsey Road, coming second to Leicester and want the manager out and then go, well, Pep's in town, so second it is for a few years, boys. Absolute rubbish, man. Like, we got to actually demand some standards at the club, man. It's been way, way too long before Arsenal have been winning major honours, man. Like, honestly, it's mad.
Do you think the problem is with social media fan? And we're all talking about fans that operate on social media, and we're part of that. Do you think it's because they don't want the association to sort of standard FC Arsenal fans who have been speaking about standards for like the last 5 years and wanted the manager sacked straight away? Is it almost, you see this in politics quite a lot, where I hate party A because they believe in X, Y, and Z, but then they come out of a policy that you actually agree with, or you have a policy that you want to push now, but you're like, but it's similar to one they had before, and I don't want to be aligned to them, and I don't want.
Nobody wants to be wrong either, Terry. Nobody wants to be wrong.
I feel like people are just sort of. There's a comment here from Carl that says, like, can Pep be stopped? And I'm just looking at something here. So how long has Pep now been at City?
8, I think it is. 8 years.
7 or 8 years, yeah.
So in 8 years, he's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Premier League. So he's been stopped twice. FA Cups, he's won 2, which means he's been stopped 6 times. League Cup, he's won 1, 2, 3, 4 times, which means he's been stopped 4 times. Champions League, he's won it once, which means he's been stopped 7 times. So to answer your question, yes, Pep has been stopped 7 times from winning the Champions League, 50% of the time from winning the Carabao Cup. I don't know, 80% of the time of winning the FA Cup. And in fact, he's been stopped twice from winning the Premier League. So this idea that he can't be stopped is an absolute fallacy.
Facts, bro.
Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it can't be done. And I don't think anybody's saying if Arteta was to win the League Cup and the FA Cup and come second by a point, I don't even think the most diehard Arteta raters would say you've got to sack him per se. But someone says zero context there. No, there is no zero context there. We're acting like Pep wins every single trophy in every single competition every single year. He doesn't. He's been the most successful in that time by a country mile, but there's been opportunities for everybody else to win trophies. There has been. The problem with Arteta in the last couple of years and Arsenal is that City have gone out in some of those comps early, but some of Arsenal, because they haven't played a strong enough team, where I sort of like the approach that, there was some of our League Cup games last season. We're playing our strongest 11 against championship teams. But that's because Ten Hag wanted to win that trophy. And I think there are times where Arteta in the last 5 years could have played stronger teams in cup games.
Do you know what completely cans this argument about Pep? For the last 5 years, Arsenal played in the Champions League once. If it's Pep that you can't beat, why didn't Arsenal win the Europa League then? Because Pep weren't in that. So it ain't Pep, is it? Yeah. It's absolutely crazy when people come out with this. Klopp's beating him in the league. Conte's beating him in the league. You've just repeated. Ten Hag's bloody beating him in a final, right? So all this we can't beat Pep is just an absolute excuse, again, for Arsenal not winning trophies, for me. It's
you know what as well, Potsy? This is what I say about for me, I think Pep's given up on the Carabao Cup now, We won it 4 or 5 times in a row, and now we just get knocked out rapid. Arteta should be looking at that trophy and going, right, that's mine. I'm 100%. Taking it. And I know for a fact that people will say, well, if we finish second and win the Carabao Cup, we'll still have this conversation. Yes, we will still have the conversation. And the reason we're having that conversation is because Arsenal are a football club that should be winning the major honours. But it becomes a lot more easy for you as an Arteta inner, as an Arteta defender, to defend a manager if he wins a trophy and finishes second, even if it is the worst trophy that you can win. So for me now, Arteta should be looking at those domestic cups and going, I'm having them. I'm having them. And because 100%. At the end of the day, right, Champions League, not being funny, but there's an element of luck in that competition, 100%. We've all played in it. We've not all won it, actually, have we? Sorry. 2 of us have won it. Nah, for real, man. Sorry, man. I actually didn't mean to do that. Sorry, Patsy, bro. 2 of us have won it. 1 of us haven't. But
we won it, but it wasn't called the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, all right. 2 of us have won the Champions League. The element of luck. So, you can't always guarantee you're going to win that. And the Premier League, you are coming up against probably, if not debatable, the best manager in the league. So for me, go for the domestic cups, man. Get it boxed off. I genuinely didn't mean to say that, Potsy. I genuinely forgot that you'd not won the Champions League, bro. My bad.
I thought you actually said the Carabao. Yeah, listen, you're right, mate. You're absolutely facts. And for people that think that he's going to get sacked if we don't win something, give your head a wobble. This manager will be here for the next few years if we don't win something, because the Kroenkes is their guy. He is their guy. And I don't have faith that the ownership would pull the plug. I really don't. The fan base would have to turn big time against the manager, like we did against Emery, like we did against Wenger. There'd have to be riots again. There'd have to be protests again for them to get rid of this guy. And I genuinely believe the fan base are so in love with Mikel Arteta and what he's done so far that would take a hell of a long time. It's mad to think that we are nearly halfway through, or we're over halfway through now, of the Wenger drought. And people are still accepting that this is new and we've got time, don't worry. It's 9 years of Wenger, one of the best, in my opinion, manager Arsenal have ever had, right? 9 years without something. We've just gone over 5 now, and people are still saying it's still early days, it's a transition, it's a process, be patient. It doesn't make sense. And this is only within a decade, by the way, of fans writing and trying to get ownerships out and trying to get managers out and all that. All of you remember it. You remember AFTV and what it was like. It wasn't long ago. But all of a sudden, 5 years on with a new manager, it's like, a bit of patience needed. Boys, come on, calm down. Pep's here. I never, ever left Highbury and said, Fergie's here, second it is. When you won a treble in 99, I never, ever, ever walked away from Highbury going, second place it is then. Well done, Terry and Man United. You're going to be fine. Fergie's in town. I never did. I was like, let's go and beat him.
Yeah,
2002 we did double. 2004 we went unbeaten.
But it's about the balance, isn't it? Because I also feel like not winning the league shouldn't equal sacking a manager. It's about the overarching element. So yes, you're up against one of the best teams in the world, one of the best Premier League teams ever in City, but there's multiple other trophies that can be won as well.